What's going on, everyone? This is EK, gonna be doing another one of this little bit of a product review, and today we have the Elgato key light. Now this is not the air version, which is the much more smaller one, but this is just a normal one, which I've had it sat in the back of my room for quite a while. Just never had the chance to actually open it and think about what I'm gonna do with it, because I already rely on like my big aperture light, my normal studio light that actually has proper filters and everything, and it's being much softer. But you know, because I keep seeing this kind of ads, I keep seeing everyone, you know, raving about this kind of product, I said, all right, you know what, might as well get much more fancier, get a little bit more easier, and see where we go. So let's do this. So as you can tell, it's actually quite a big box for me. For comparison, like I'm sort of standing up right here, right? This is on my seat, but I'm gonna put it on the armrest. It's actually quite sizable. Okay, so first things first, get linked with a little bit of instruction booklet. Cool. The big Elgato sign in cardboard. And this is what you actually have, right? So I'm just gonna make sure that I got everything right. I have already unboxed one of them, but just to be sure, this is the actual key light. It's wrapped in this little bit of cardboard paper. It's actually quite thin, so if you look at it properly, it's actually a very thin panel. So just by opening it like this, here we go. That is the front of key light. It's actually quite a little bit of a wide screen. At the back, you have the unit here. So you have the buttons down underneath here. Not sure if you can see that properly, but basically you put your charger on the right. There's a reset button over here. It's probably not going to be focusing in as much, but it's just like one of those flicker buttons. You hold on to the right to reset. On the middle it's off, and then on the left it's on, and that's pretty much the clickety things that you will need to do. On the bottom here is also the part where you need to be screwing these things onto the clamp. So very, very important. We'll just put this onto the side. Things next, you have this part, which is basically, it comes with your connector. This is your power source, right? And your power source, this is to connect to the bottom of the key light. And then over here you have different type of, well, I guess wherever you are, electrical plugs. Where's my one? Yeah. Okay, there's another one. And being down under, you get this. So ours is a little bit more on the rounder side. So yep, it's very, very friendly with this. This is something that I will need in order to plug this into the power outlet out down here. So the other three back into the box. And then on top of that, you have this roundish circle, right? This actually goes on to the part where you're gonna connect the key light into the actual clamp. Quite important, so you don't get scratched up, and when you do unscrew one of these days because you're moving or something, it's actually quite easy to do. And this is for chord adjustment, so this is for cable ties and all that. At least I'm assuming that's what it's going to be, because I already clamped up the other one. It took a while. And here's a little safety booklet. All very legit stuff. You will need it when you go and build into this journey, and you'll have many of it. Cable ties. This is actually quite a long cord. Okay, arm's length. This looks to be over 1 meter. I'm pretty sure I can find the specific cord meters out for you. But yeah, this is actually very decent of a size, because I guess Elgato knows that they want you to be able to put this into anywhere that you are with your computer source, so that, you know, longer cord is always going to be efficient when it comes down to this kind of electricity that needs to be very extended. It wouldn't make sense if they're going to give you a product, you know, which is actually quite big and quite long, but then the power cord is like tiny. I have seen that. I've definitely been at the end of those kind of products, and I pretty much stressed myself out in the past, and I had to quickly run down to my local JB Hi-Fi and quickly just buy an extension in order to just cater to one power source. It has been one of those things, but Elgato has done well here. Now with your power source on that cap onto here, quite easily you just slap it on. It screws on quite tightly. You know, it doesn't really come off. Quite good. And so leave that onto the side with everything. And the last part, which is probably the most important, this was also clamped onto it to make sure that it doesn't move. Okay. Now, this is the clamp that Elgato is very proud of. it's not broken. That's just a board cardboard box. What are you talking about? So, gotta represent Elgato where it is. And then, you know, giving my personal impression on this is just one of those clamps that you go through. Over here on the top, let me just quickly get this into the focus. One day. Okay, so over here, it's a very, very small kind of like, how can I put it? You can see it just from that. That is a tiny little screw, right? So that is going to be the whole thing. That's going to be resting upon the clamp, and you're going to connect it up like this, right? This is a rough guess on, or this is not a rough guess. This is a rough way to present it. Let's quickly address a few things. Onto the bottom here, obviously this is just very normal. Anyone can do this. Basically it's just a clamp. Elgato has also cited that if you don't want to be using this, you can get the mount on the bottom to get the weighted one, so you can like screw it on properly. That is an option, but as of right now, everyone's moving towards the age where they just clamp everything onto an IKEA desk, onto an Omni desk, or personally yours is going to be Secret Lab desk. I am using the Secret Labs XL, the one that goes up and down, and I gotta say, this I didn't take into consideration because there's a lot of things when you go into a Secret Labs desk or Omni desk or any of that, right? The way I see it is that you will have to clamp not onto the back of the desk, because the back of the desk actually has more area, because Secret Labs, they will have the area where you can actually, you know, flip up and down for your cable management and everything else. So if you do sneak that one in, it's going to be a different story, especially if you want to go up and down. That means you're going to have to like clamp it onto the side. Now obviously, for all intensive purposes, when you are streaming, you don't want all the light to be shining into your eyes. You want it to shine it to the side, right? If not to the side of your eye, at least, you know, it will hit your face around here for better comparison, because, you know, who the hell want to be streaming or, you know, doing anything in front of the camera with a massive luminosity just shining into your eyes? There's no way you're going to be able to play, and that's not good for your eyes as well. So the way I see it, that's going to be fine. It is something that I was trying to think about how to cater anyway. Another thing is, if you are with multi-monitors like myself, which I'll show you in a quick second, you're going to have to know how to extend it. So on top of the clamp here, which I actually am pretty glad that they have done, is you can actually unscrew these parts here and you can extend. To give you a comparison on what you can possibly do, bang, that's the top part. So that's already a sizable, decent length that you can extend. This, if I were to compare it to my current monitor, I've got a 27-inch onto the side, and that is already sitting at a 27-inch monitor size area. Okay, so that's from here. And then, you know, once again, I'm pretty sure if we do this, we can do a second layer of extension. Give me a little bit. I can't take that noise. And here you go. You can just clamp these circles down here, so you can clamp it back on with the screws, and to make sure that you fasten it, and so that they don't actually hold down to it. It does seem a little bit finicky because you can hear all this rattling noise, but I can tell you, I'm trying to pull it down. Like, flex the arm! Flex the arm! There you go. It's pretty solid. It's not going to just suddenly slide down if you didn't tighten it. A lot of people in the beginning, since they didn't tighten this, they will notice that the top here will just quickly drop down with the thing, and, you know, therefore damaging a little bit, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem if you know what you're doing. When you unscrew, you screw back on, right? That's a comparison. That's the rule. And down here, it's probably one of the best features that Elgato has thought about to all the gamers here, is that the clamp here, right? If you were to actually, say for example, clamp to the side, and there's like a wall or like a table leg that's on the side that blocks you from, like, you know, screwing up like this, there's actually a little bit of a sort of like a button bump. It's stuck. It's not a button, right? But basically what you do here is, if you were to get one of those problems where you can't go here, you can hold on to here and make this slide down. So I'm not sure if you can see that properly. I'm gonna wait for a little bit. Basically, you can actually put this one down. Come on. Like that. Love my autofocus. But yeah, so basically right here, there you go. See here, you just press and you can shift this down. And then when you shift down, you can actually go through it one more time. So this is not going to affect your ability to screw on or off, right? So, you know, for those tight corners, for those flush people, for those people who likes to just make sure everything is sitting neatly in the side, yeah, this is your solution. Now, let's quickly just put a few things through before I go through the rest with you. So, one thing that I did notice when I did come into this is when I'm attaching this piece of circle on top of here, which, look, for me, it's a little bit funky because this side is already not that tall, it's not that long of a screw already. This top is like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, it's 3.5 revolutions coming in. And then when you stick this on top, well, it is sitting like that, right? It's actually, you know, making it a little bit more shorter. I get it, but as someone who likes long screws, you know, things to be super secure when working with camera gear in the past, this sort of makes me a little bit edgy here and there. But look, I screwed it on one and it wasn't bad. And so we can just only keep going with this. But yeah, that's only my critique coming onto this, right? It's not like, oh, we must have a big long screw so that therefore you compensate the rest. No, it really isn't. It's just that this seems like it's just going to be one little bit of plastic here, or metal. This part is metal. Yeah, sorry, it's metal, right? And then getting this one to hold on to it for internal life, like, you know, my inner soul with camera working gears and stuff is like, ah, man, lights, they always do this. And I'm telling you, I have a $2,000 aperture 200D, yeah, Mark II 200D, and the weight that it comes with and distribution at getting the top attached has always been light, has always been a little bit finicky. So yeah, I'm not calling Elgato out on this one. This is the industry at the state of where things are. I'm pretty sure engineers didn't really give it too much of a thought because they thought, like, you know, the light's just going to be stable. It's always going to be weighted down. It's always going to be onto the side. Yeah, we don't need to go and do too much with it. Could be the state. I could be very wrong here. Let me know. You know, but otherwise, if you do agree, having extra security is key, especially when spending extra cash on your actual gear matters, right? And so now that I've got it on, while that I was doing it, I was using my hands to screw it on. If you didn't take notice, this actually goes back and forth. Okay, so because this is on an angle, you have full option of 180 going from back to the fold like that. However you want to do it or use this, or if you want to use it in a podcast, if you want to use it during your streaming on Twitch or Kick or anything, this is something that will play into us some time apart if you want to get super creative, if you want to muck around with it. And then also this option here, you can also move it this way, this way, this way, this way. Imagine you're sitting in an office trying to do a podcast and you don't really have a light. Guess what? You can use this, right? Because you use this and you just flip, you just get someone to permanently flip the light and you'd be like, ah, you know, from one speaker to the next. That could just be a thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it so you can see it right here. I'm gonna tighten it. That's pretty good. Okay, so sizable strength. I'm gonna quickly just show you. Now that I've screwed it on, you can still move it, you know, from side to side, just in case that you haven't really thought about the right angle just yet, because you haven't booted up your OBS, you haven't booted up your Streamlabs, you haven't done much with it. Then obviously there's no point trying to adjust the perfect angle before you clamp it down, and that's just the way it is. So, you know, you put a nice enough amount of strength, shaking it. This is the shake test. It doesn't seem that bad, right? It's not like full jelly. See? And so here comes the part where it's going to be dreadful for me because I have so much things clamped, and let me show you my full concern. All right, so I'm going to put this down for now. Metal detectors on the beach, you know, it's like going, it's going, whoop, whoop, whoop. If you look at it, I've already got one of them installed. So that one up there, that's installed. This is my main screen where I'm like broadcasting. Over here is my side one where I use for Discord or Twitch chat. Over here. Now, I've got two monitors, right? One up, one down. Which is gonna be a bit of a pain. Okay, so let me show you exactly what I mean. This is actually sitting okay, right? So this part, no worries. But if you look at the height, this is my Elgato desk. All right, don't worry about my water bottle and stuff. But things like this will play into you, right? So you've already got plenty of different things at the back. That's my camera. It's also connected by Elgato Cam Link. And so my stream decks and stuff, yada, yada, yada. Now, obviously I want the light to be here to match almost around the same height as that, if not a little bit more higher coming into it. I'm using this light just to beam it up into the ceiling, and that works for me when it comes to typical streaming nights. And this is actually quite soft. It doesn't really give too much of a lumen. I only got it for like 80 bucks on eBay on some knockoff brand. I don't even know what it is, but you know, this actually goes through quite well. And so for the people who actually like having this kind of things in, let me show you the paint. Okay, so obviously for everyone else that is thinking about getting the Secretlabs XL, right? You gotta consider what you're gonna do with it into the back, cable management, and this is what I was talking about, right? Down here, I'm using everything, and I've got an extra board that's using everything. Do I need to put an extra board at some time in the future? Probably, but how am I supposed to clamp anything into the back here, right? So this is the Secretlabs table at the back. If you were to go through it, it actually sits all the way down. But I'm not gonna do that, right? Because I want some of these cords to be out. And of course, I've actually installed my RGB onto the side down here so it actually glows if I want to. And so, what do I do? You asked me. So this is the way I set the last one. And that was a pain, right? I put everything in here and I managed to clamp that all the way up while sneaking that long thing. It actually sits right in here, right? And it's a long thing, it's a long power source. So I'm gonna need to somehow squeeze it into this one, which I'm strictly running out of room, right? I don't think I can actually put it into this one as well. So I might have to just go into a fold option here. Whew. Definitely not an easy task to begin with, if you ask me. Does it require me to pull a few things out? Yes, it does. And this is the best of times where I actually have my computer there sitting against the wall in a nice flush position with everything neatly stacked away. I had to pull everything out, which is probably better than a lot of other people out there who doesn't really have cable management. And even with my messy cable management, I managed to the best of my abilities to tie whatever I could and things. But with the computer journey, with the streaming journey, with whatever creation journey you're doing, you're always going to be buying more stuff. You're always going to be trying to expand, and you're always going to try to, you know, get the next console or something. And so you'll need extra power plugs. You want better options, so your desk always remains cable free. And hey, yeah, that's just something you're gonna have to put up with. So with that being said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly clamp this one on and have it installed, and then after I finish installing, I'm gonna quickly just install it as well, because it does require Wi-Fi. So yeah, here we go. Let's see how that works. Okay, so with so much more extra effort that I had to put in, I have successfully clamped it on, which is over here. Now originally I wanted this to be behind here, but the worst of the worst has actually come into fruition. And you know, the back, I couldn't even, you know, clamp it to the back of the Elgato desk. Now, you know, once again, just to reiterate, I can just quickly turn the back panel down and hide all my cords and then clamp it onto that, but that's not the most stablest position that I want to put it in, especially if I need to put extra things in or if I need to put things out. And then I couldn't exactly flush it underneath where all the rest of those things are as well. So because the bottom plate was actually a little bit too tall, and so I couldn't clamp that in. And so I tried different kind of options. Let me quickly give you my problem. If you were to check on the right bottom side of the Elgato right here, it's sitting a little bit awkward on the side, and that is because I couldn't exactly get this one in because of this. There's an extra little bit of a bumper here, which is why that it has resulted into this. And this is actually the unit for the Secret Labs actual table here. This is where all the panels are, so if you want to turn it on and stuff to go up and down, that's where it's sitting at. So I don't really have any other option. And over here there's actually a little bit more of a bump that actually has the power blocks coming in, and so yeah, frustrating it is, and I'm not gonna lie, that is a little bit disappointing to come out from here. And it's not on any fault on Elgato, and it's not a fault onto Secret Labs for making this kind of things. I just kind of wish that, you know, since we are moving towards the future, trying to get a better setup, you know, we're streamers, we're content creators, are all coming to one. You know, things should try to work with each other. If you don't have that kind of a setup, then maybe, you know, try to have a little bit more of a consideration coming in, right? Not being snarky about it. I think, you know, it's a wonderful product, but, you know, for people who work, people who, you know, can actually earn their way to buy their gear, it's kind of a frustrating thing to go through, because not everyone who starts streaming, who starts content creating, want to start at the beginning level where you're like, you know, not spending anything. Some other people, especially people that, you know, of the working class right now, say, hey, you know what, there's a sale, usually it's about $350, but it's now $270. I'm gonna go and buy, and I'm gonna improve my streaming stuff. And then they come back and then, you know, spend extra time on their day off trying to improve this, and then, you know, you come with a product that's only working about 70% efficient to what they were supposed to be promised. And so, you know, that's just bad side effect coming into this. I'm going to quickly also show you the better part, which is, this one's probably not the prime example of everything coming together very well. So it's blocking the monitor just a tiny little bit, but that's fine, because that's only where I monitor some other stuff on Discord. Over here, this is where I have my OBS open up anyway, so that's fine, I guess, because I'm going to be sitting here. So a side lens here, that's not too much of a problem coming in. Over here, after clamping, only because it's on a funky corner that it moves like this. Otherwise, if I look at the other one, yep, it's actually not too bad. And then on top, now the only things I need to do is to put this in, and also the biggest bank of them all, the power right here. Now I have been able to actually put this through onto the back for the other one there, into the Secret Labs desk. On this one though, I'm gonna have to go to the ground option because I don't really have any other cables for it. And so that's pretty much how this is going to be setting up on the physical side. And now I have to configure it with the Wi-Fi part. So I'm going to quickly just move everything back in, switch everything on to my computer on to make sure that this is all working, and show you how it looks. Okay, now that everything is on, I've just downloaded something from Elgato, which is the control center. Let me just quickly move this a little bit more closer so you guys can see a little bit. Normally I will use OBS as well, but this is pretty much a simple download. This actually comes with the instructions right here. It's basically, it reads in the beginning, after you connect everything, connect it to the power, and then just go into elgato.com, download, and pretty much just go and, you know, identify the thing, which is going to be the key light. And yeah, install the control center app, which I have just finished, which literally takes 2 seconds after downloading. Now that is done, it says to switch on your key light, and it will take approximately 15 seconds to turn on. Okay. Whoa. Don't know if you guys saw that, but that was just like instant brightness. Holy crap. Just looking at that's already a lot more brighter. If I were to turn them off, like you will get a lot more darker of this face, just as you saw from the beginning, but I'm a little bit lost for it. So it says quickly open the control center, which I'm just gonna double click. It says no accessories found. requires 2.4 gigahertz network with WPA or WPA2 encryption. Your system must therefore be Wi-Fi enabled. Ensure that the keyless is within the range of a computer router, which is fine. Let me just quickly search for it. This is now just booting up. You know what? Let me just quickly add it into my OBS so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, so after all of that, use my OBS to download everything to try to make sure that we got things working. Whew, here we go, the magic time. I'm gonna quickly open it. That is the actual Elgato iOS. Oh, sorry, I mean Android. Android! Anyway, so I'm gonna quickly say yes to use it only this time. And basically the control center is going to be going through found new accessories. That's the initial load right here. It's a little bit white because all the white light is now brightening my room, but it does say found new accessories. Do you want to add new accessories to the network? I just press yes, and both Elgato actually popped up. That's much better. Both Elgatos come up. It's a little bit blurry, but you get what I mean. And so I'm going to quickly connect. Not sure which one this is. D17C. Control center will use a temporary Wi-Fi to connect the device. Allow suggested networks. I'm gonna quickly connect it to the one that I use for this room. Okay, now connecting to the device. I think it's that one over there because it did just blink for a second. It's connecting to the internet here. Taking a little bit of time. According to the instruction booklet, it does take up to 60 seconds, but it has been added successfully. I'm going to try to dim that a little bit because the light is overwhelming. You can't see it. Anyway, so now that it's up here, I'm going to control it, and you can tell on the top. I'm not sure if you can see it from there, but let me just quickly move this up. Okay, so that's the one right there. I'm gonna try to toggle with the bar here on what kind of light. You see it flickering up and down. There you go, that's a pretty yellow light right there. And then going to the left side, and then on how bright you want it to be. Oh my god, that was bright. Someone else is gonna be like, what's going on with this bloody guy's place? He's flashing up and down, he's doing some experiment. He is building Frankenstein. I'm gonna leave that as it is because that is awfully bright already. I'm gonna have to play around with it after. And I'm gonna quickly name it. You can name it by pressing the I on top. I'm just gonna quickly rename it as left light because I've got two. This whole time on OBS, I didn't even need to record that much, but I will also record the final little bit of a play because I do believe you want to see what the difference is for a streamer, right? Especially for like how your how everything is going to be connected and how things work. So the left is now restarting and will be available soon. Excellent. And while we're waiting for this happening, if you would like to see more of this kind of stuff, please leave me a comment. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed to this channel that is still growing, make sure to sub, put a like, and turn on the notification bell. It actually helps out. And for all those people who want to see me stream sometime, make sure to follow twitch.tv/emperor_zk. Look, trying to grow. Guys, just trying to be honest about here and making sure that this is a full-time gig. Making sure that it's going to be fun. I just want to have some fun, have a lot of things going on. And here we go. We got the other one working through. So let me quickly set this one up. Okay, now that is now restarting. We have successfully updated it. It uses the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi frequency. Wi-Fi signal strength is at 98%, is because I have my actual router sitting right next to me. But you know, for the people who actually use Wi-Fi quite a lot, or for people who don't have their computer next to their modem and they use a long line and separated by walls, this is probably somewhere that you're going to be really frustrated with. Okay, so I'm going to quickly clarify, that's going to be an instant difficulty. So if you are going to be sitting away from the modem and you want to use this light, you're not going to have the greatest amount of time, because whatever, separated by concrete wall, double brick, all kind of microwave emitters that can actually interrupt with your frequency. Look, you're not going to have a good time using this to pair in the beginning, because they're going to want to use this as much as you want. Now let's go ahead with the right one to make sure that's good. Turning yellow, turning super bright as well. I'm just going to leave that as it is. And so yeah, Elgato Control Center, now that works. Let's quickly go into just a little bit more things going through, a little bit of specification. So do not over tighten, which we didn't do, left a little bit of a mark. Pattern and expandable up to 6 centimeters. That is the part where you actually go into the clamp onto the bottom for it to loosen and tighten. 2.35 inches to actually go through it. Maximum load on top of this light is 2 kilos or 4.5 lbs. So friends, make sure not to stack any more things on top. You can put a sticker on here and there just for fun, or if you want to do spooky Fridays, or if you want to do Halloweens, you can actually stick a little bit of a, you know, tough light on top, just to give a spooky effect. But then again, remember, because you will overheat if you do leave it on for long. Got a disclaimer, be careful, you're not supposed to do that. I didn't tell you that. And so everything else is pretty much simple. Now I did this in a span of, let's just say 30 minutes, right? So from the beginning to the end, screwed on both, and then recording this. As you tell, this is about roughly 30 minutes going through it, and then going through everything else that it does have. Here we go. Frequency range is 2412 to 2472 megahertz. And then temperature range is from 0 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. Therefore, Corsair declares that this device is in compliance with essential requirements and other relevant provisions of Directive 2014/53/EC. And so, you know, they've done everything they could by the book in order to make sure that you have a product which is actually safe to use. Now, obviously, just because it is safe to use doesn't mean it's safe to abuse. Okay, for all the big massive content creators, obviously they have their own thing, and they've always got a setup that they can constantly monitor, and they're more experienced. For the beginners yourself, this is your discovery. You need to sometimes feel for the need for your own equipment. You need to become a master of it to know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, then, you know, slowly go at it. Don't try to push the limit automatically to maximum and cause yourself distress and pain for no reason. I would say, you know, start small and then go big, or start steady and maintain that steadiness until you have control over all of your equipment. The way I see it right now, this is actually an insane product. I'm also going to do one step forward. And that one step forward is to make sure that I can actually control this with my Elgato Stream Deck. And so I have two Stream Decks right here. They're both XLs because I like them. Okay, now I'm in the control center. And so you have your on and off button. So I'm going to quickly put it onto the left side of my one Stream Deck XL. So I'm going to quickly put on, here's the on and off button. Here's the set brightness, here's adjust brightness, adjust temperature, right and left. Now guys, this is obviously to show you, if I didn't have my light on properly and I was streaming, no matter what I was doing, like, you know, this, you know, just not thinking about my lights on the side as well. This is how I will look, right? With just the light on top, a light to the side. I probably need that light to shine on me in order to make sure that people can see me properly, but you still see many shadows. Now, obviously, it's not like I'm one of those pretty or handsome guys out there that I can just be like, you look at me, even with my darker side. No, but you want a good contrast and balance when you are streaming, when you're doing content creation. People want to see you on your genuine side. You're gonna need the light. So looking at this without the light, and then with the light. Enter the Donald Trump meme right there. No, turn it off, turn it off.
No, get those lights off. Off.
No, this is actually quite useful. I am going to quickly add, obviously, more brightness controls to make sure that they're both correct. I'm going to make sure that I get like a step up and down for both sides, because the distance from the left and the right is a little bit different on the setup. It's a little bit more trickier to have a look at where we go, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible to, you know, obviously go through with what I need to do, and then make sure that I got everything on correctly. And so, quite simply, let's just say I've also got the strength on for the right one at 52%, the left one's at 52. This is to give myself the balance, and so this one, let's just say I'm gonna go to 4750 as well. This is gonna affect my right light, stepping up by 10%. Is that stepping up? No, so I'm gonna step down by 10% and step up by 10%. And now I have things mirrored. So this one onto the right light is sitting at 100k, 100k. Okay, so this is what you'll get. And guys, make sure when you are streaming, when you are doing content creation, things don't have to always be facing into your face. They don't have to be full flashing. What you want to do is find the perfect balance, going from one side to the next to bounce off white walls, bounce off different kind of things. You know, and obviously I've only got it just shining down towards certain areas, where the left is sort of shining down to me, the right one is looking away, right? So I'm trying to like stabilize a little bit more of a light, but if I were to start turning this one down to me, it will have the same kind of effect. So say for example, if I were to just quickly move it, okay, and you'll see that overexposure onto my skin, right? It will adjust and you will go there. Obviously you can start playing around with it. So I'm gonna adjust the right side down a little bit more to give a little bit back of my real skin color to make sure that I'm doing the right thing at the same time. Yeah, that's how I'll probably have myself as most of the time. But if I need a little bit more brightness into here, bang, it is what it is. And if I want to do the extra, and this is something for the extra, for everyone out there who wants to get this set up, who wants to get things right, if you want to play with green screen, right there, right? You need actual light to be giving you the perfect green screen chroma keyed out properly. Now, if you guys want to have an explanation on how to get the OBS set up with the green screen properly, then let me know. Drop me a comment. I'm pretty happy to do an explanation video. And also on top, this is just to give you that kind of power. If you don't have a proper light, if you rely on normal sunlight, it changes within the day. And if you don't have enough brightness, your green screen is not going to work properly and you're going to get fuzzy things in the background. You don't want to have that hassle, or you don't want to limit yourself into that kind of space. This is what I would recommend and heavily go for. This is something that probably most people will have to think about on how things goes for feel, how it works towards them. For me, I rather have more control because I have many things to set through, and I'm happy to, you know, shell out a bit to give all my stuff, you know, an uplift. And so when I do content streaming, I don't have to be like standing up, turning on the light, turning off the light. Don't have to be like doing different kind of things. I just press a few buttons, bang, on, off, boom, right? Happy about that. Turn it back on. Let's go, content creation time. And then, hey, look, you know, it's middle of the daytime. I'm gonna quickly just adjust myself. Not in the middle of the daytime, bang, 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 right? And obviously, whatever you do, it's a mastery of yourself and the best control for yourself as well. The more you do, the more better it is. You know, and obviously, why is this going back to the right side? Anyway, the more you do, the more, that's why. The more you do, the more better it gets. And of course, you have to make sure that you do things correctly. And so when you are at it, you are going to be having the most amount of fun. And so there you have it. At the end of the day, it's an amazing product. I will recommend it to anyone who's actually got their setup properly to make it as optimal as possible. If you want to take content creation up to the next level and you want to have it with a convenience, make sure to go and pick up the Elgato key light. Make sure to also, you know, just quickly get it out there and, you know, have a good time with it. This is actually slipping. I couldn't be bothered getting the tripod up anymore. So yeah, at the end of the day, the product, for me, feels like it's very solid, very strong. I'd have to give it a proper, proper testing over the next few months when I'm actually streaming, when I'm actually having fun with it, and then come back to give the full review. But as of now, this is sitting at a 4.5 out of 5 for me. It is very easy to use. I think the only thing that lets me down is the clamping area, where I didn't really get the clamping option that I wanted to go, but then that could be solved with weighted weights from other kind of different tables. For myself, with the Secret Labs one, it doesn't really correlate because I wanted to go with the best of the best of the best. That kind of a thing. Didn't work out that well, but hey, that's not on anyone. That's only on what I want to do and what I want to envision. If you truly enjoyed this video, make sure to thumbs up, like, sub, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on Twitch, and I'll see you right there. This is Empress CK. I'm going off. I'll catch you then. Peace.